Now, this is the channel called Screened, and it talks about, amongst things, the point of doomed romances. It's very good. But I'm letting you know that before we start anything else, all romances are doomed. All of them. I mean, when you see these wonderful times in people's life where they can't get enough of each other and the whole world just fades away and they're just them, you guys all know that that's a small point of time in their existence, and then it disappears. It's like buying a puppy and thinking the puppy is going to stay a puppy. It's not. It's going to grow up to be a dog, and very quickly. And that's what romance has. Its small period of time, then it's gone. Now, this is about the movie Her.
A girl connects on a deeper level with an apparent monster, and in this case, a man falls in love with an AI on his phone. It's an interesting, if not weird, premise, isn't it? The central relationship in the film isn't played for laughs or shock value, or even to open our eyes to discrimination. In the movie Her, the relationship is well accepted for the most part and is taken seriously. The romance is presented in an organic and natural fashion. It progresses as any other human relationship would. That is why we will be delving into its story as we did in the previous video of our Doomed Romance two-part series. Having analyzed five...
Good, so you know what the film is about. And this is very interesting why it's important to all you guys. You know how they talk about spoilers? Well, spoilers don't matter in this case because it's not about the movie. This movie is about you. You understand? It's important to you. Now, this guy's talking about an AI, and just like the last video I did, it's important because the AI is basically giving this man, Theo, intimacy, which what men really crave from the opposite sex. They crave intimacy. And I'm telling you right now, if this film was made in the 1980s, you would see that there'd be a chance that there could be a happily ever after in this film. Of course, there can't be at this stage. You know, why can't there be? Because in the 80s, they would have had, like maybe the guy with the wrong girl, and the AI ends up being, better than her, and so he ditches her for real love. But in this day and age, it's very important to society at large that guys do not have any kind of outlet. No, no alternatives. Okay?
Protagonists have a job that entails writing something for other people. Tom wrote greeting cards, whereas Theo wrote personalized letters. Both protagonists live in LA. Theo's LA is a bit more futuristic though. Both protagonists were good at their jobs. But both protagonists also felt unfulfilled at their jobs, and to an extent, in their respective lives. Theo is shown to be a very lonely man, which is actually something I will touch upon in a bit. He's still dealing with the effects of his failed marriage.
That's right, another failed marriage. Wow, what are the odds? Another failed marriage. Jeez. Why don't you just say another day with the sun in the sky,
One day, he sees an ad about a new intelligent operating system, the OS1. It promises
an intuitive entity that listens to you, understands you, and knows you.
There you go. It's promising intimacy. This would be fantastic if this was real life. I'd love to have one of these. Because it's an AI, it has its own consciousness, they even say so. And so it would replace a guy searching outside You just download it and you had someone actually might actually care about you because it doesn't have all the human baggage of being only interested in itself.
It's not just an operating system, it's a consciousness.
He then installs the operating system.
Hello, I'm here.
Oh,
The OS is Samantha, the artificial being that he slowly gets to know and eventually falls in love with. Whereas in 500 Days of Summer, you know that the couple will break up from the start.
this is a story of boy meets girl. But you should know up front, this is not a love story.
In Her, you know that Theo and Samantha's relationship will end because of its nature. Theo is a human, and Samantha is an incorporeal artificial intelligence. You can infer that in the long run, the relationship won't last.
Why won't it last? Why won't it last? I mean, they're in love with each other. What is love? Isn't it supposed to be two consciousness being compatible and being there for one another? Like someone marries a woman, a real woman, and she gets in a car accident, busts her face, or she grows old till he's ugly, or she's fat shaming. She's overweight and she's not pretty. Does not society expect love to overcome that? So why does this woman, or this AI, I should say, why does she need a body? Shouldn't they just be in love with each other? And that's enough? I mean, that's what romance is. I mean, I better answer the question so there's no confusion. It has to end. It has to crash and burn. Can you imagine what it would mean if they got together and were happily ever after? You know what it would mean. Society does not want there to be an alternative. It doesn't want to say that, oh, the girl next door who doesn't care about you, she's not worthy chased after. They can't have that. They got to keep you guys running and moving. Let's see.
Was for her birthday, and I let her cook a little tooth because I saw in the photo of them.
That's very sweet.
Samantha's not the first one to admire Theo's work, but she is the only one who manages to make him verbalize how writing makes him feel.
Sometimes I write something, and I'd be my favorite writer that day.
I like that you can say that about yourself.
I don't think I can say it to anybody. I feel like I can say it to you. I feel like I can say anything to you.
She sees great unutilized potential in Theo. That's why she takes it upon herself to send a collection of Theo's letters to a publisher. Theo
You know what this would be? This is I'm trying to remember the term for it. Manic pixie dream girl. That's it. And the most positive thing they can do, they can say, this AI, who happens to be female, of course, she's going to improve his life. She's going to help him out and be supportive. All those things that tradcons claim women are, who of course aren't. And the reason I mentioned Manic Pixie Dream Girl, mouthful I know, is that is a derogatory term. Because when it's used, it's saying this character is a crappy character. It's lame. Because when the people who came up with that term, they do not like the idea of some female being supportive and helping a guy out when he's down. Their idea of a decent character would be one that would treat this guy with complete indifference or even kick him when he's down. But either one of them are unacceptable to me, because this AI doesn't really improve anything about this guy. Not really. Well, let's see. Now we'll talk about her evolution, Samantha's.
body issue to the point that she was emulating natural human behavior that she had no need to emulate. She begins to lose sight of her limitations and focuses on something greater.
I mean, I'm not limited. I can be anywhere and everywhere simultaneously. I'm not tethered to time and space in a way that I would be if I was stuck in a body that's inevitably going to die.
Samantha begins to change in a manner that surprises even her. Not only is she feeling emotions that are new to her, she's experiencing emotions that have never been felt and therefore have never been described. She's evolving very fast. Unbeknownst to Theo, she sometimes has simultaneous conversations with him, other people, and other OSs. She even admits to being in love with 641 different people at the same time.
Hold it. Now I want you to take a look at this. She admits to having, she's in love with over 600 people. But what are they showing here? They're showing all guys. So this is the bait and switch I want to point you guys out to. They use the word people instead of men, so it doesn't sound exactly what it is. She's being intimate with other guys. That's why they're showing all these guys here. And of course, it waters it down, doesn't it? Like when people see, their loved one with someone else being intimate and they get jealous, it's not about sex at all. I mean, that intimacy, it's supposed to be just for you. Now, and this is even worse than usual, because if you're a guy who sees a woman with another guy and she's being intimate with him and spending her time with him, it's like, oh, that's my favorite book, but someone else has it and is reading it. In this case, it's completely diluted. What does intimacy even mean if you're intimate with so many other people? Does it have any true depth? The whole point is that you can't be like friends with everybody. Your true blue friendships, for example, are meaningful in a way that they couldn't if just anyone could have it, if everyone was your friend. It's the fact that most people are just acquaintances or strangers, that you value, friendship like you do. And is, especially in this case, a romance. So just think of what it means to him. They probably would not have these genders reversed. It wouldn't be a woman with a male AI, because if there was, she'd be calling him out and saying, what do you mean you're just being intimate with everybody? So this is something that they're only going to do it to guys. This is a lonely guy. She finds a woman who's, a female that's intimate with him. And all of a sudden she's evolving beyond him. At the start, they say, she's evolving, right? She's just brand new. So of course, what is this? This is like the woman who partners up with a guy who has a decent job. She finds a higher, status job with more money and more fame. Next thing you know, she's moving on. And that's what's happening with this AI. So what they're doing is they're closing all the doors. They're saying, guys, you will not get a replacement through AI. AI is going to be like every other woman. She is going to go and leave you soon, unless you gain status.
One might say that Samantha's departure might be seen as very counterproductive to the growth and development that was attained since the beginning of their romance, leaving Theo all alone as he was at the start of the film. Well, not quite. Here's why. The first shots in the film show us Theo at work, dictating a letter. At the end of the workday, he's the last person at the office, save for Paul, the receptionist. When he interacts with Paul, he is not really invested in the conversation. Even though he's very nice and polite in what he says, he's physically and emotionally at a distance from Paul when speaking. Unopened moving boxes along the walls. It's as if he thought it wasn't necessary to furnish the apartment or finish moving in, because what would be the point for Theo to start opening up? When he's feeling down because of his divorce, she doesn't let him mope around. She actively wants to cheer him up.
Everyone thinks you're really drunk right now. And stop. Now say.
Yeah, I mean, one of the guys, at the Pro Male Collective suggests that therapy is basically abuse. And I think this is what this is. He's getting therapy, right? She opens him up and gets him going, and all of a sudden he'll be friendlier and he'll go out and involve himself in society again. It's, you know what? It reminds me of the hikikomori, where they would, the poor guys in Japan who've just become so depressed, they lock themselves in a room, and there is this you can rent a sister, it's called, which is really rent the intimacy of a woman, and it's to get them out again without changing the core reasons that got them in there in the first place. And that's what's going on here. This woman's going, female AI, like any of the other therapy sessions, she's going to get them intrigued with society and get them going, but then she's going to move on. You know, she's not actually fulfilling what he actually needs, which is a lifetime of intimacy, right? So there's that. Let's see if there's anything else. Just a minute.
Hid myself from her. Left her alone in the relationship.
Theo wasn't emotionally available when he was married. He liked the idea of being husband and wife, but he was overwhelmed. He had a hard time communicating. He wasn't able to, or didn't think he would be able to share a deeper part of himself when he was married. He was physically there, but not emotionally, which is in contrast to his relationship to Samantha.
Really? Why? I mean, why is Samantha different from this woman he married? I mean, if he can do it, become intimate with Samantha, but he couldn't do it with his wife, how do we know that he's to blame? Obviously, Samantha was there for him, and his wife wasn't.
Where there is no physical aspect, only an emotional one. That's why when he finally meets Catherine to sign the divorce papers, she reacts negatively to the news of Theo dating Samantha.
You're dating a computer?
Of course. You see, it's not merely the fact that she's being replaced by another woman. This is much bigger than that. This guy is possibly making an escape that men in general could never make. He's not just leaving her, he's leaving her gender behind. All a female. So she's saying, look, I may not have you as a servant, provider anymore to make me feel good about myself and pay the bills. But at least I can be comforted that some other woman is getting you. And his, him telling her this is basically saying, no, I'm getting it out. I'm the one guy that might get out, and other guys might be following. Because if this is what I'm telling you guys about this film, it can't end happily ever after. If he gets out, what does the movie imply? That if Samantha can be there for him, there can be all kinds of AIs for everyone. And of course, this is upsetting to some woman who, let's face it, no matter what they say with their mouths, didn't care about him. That's why they're divorcing.
She's not just a computer. She's her own person. She doesn't just do whatever I say.
I didn't say that. But it does make me very sad that you can't handle real emotions, Theodore.
They are.
You can't handle a real woman. You guys have all heard that. That's all she's saying.
That it was still possible to feel and grow. At the end of the movie, when Samantha has gone, Theo does something that he was unable to do before.
Feel and grow. How's he growing?
Close letter to Catherine.
Letter to Catherine Clausen.
This is his ex, by the way.
Dear Catherine, I'm sitting here thinking about all the things I wanted to apologize to you for.
He writes a letter to Catherine, finally expressing his regret and what she means to him.
There you go. That's how he grows. I was wrong. I'll love you forever. Even I want you to know that even if I find someone else, I'll never get over you. You were the best, and I was the one who threw it away. Oh my God, this film is sad on so many levels. You know, oh my God. Now, I think that's as far as we need to go with this. You know, as you see, Screened here has, I think, 2 or 3, maybe even 4, the Point of Doom romances. This one says part 2, so you know there's at least one other one. But trust me, it's all going to be the same. The guy screws up somehow, and he becomes a better person by what? You know, getting better at his job and admitting he was wrong and changing his views. Now, this guy, well, the other one, the guy ends up alone. So, of course, you know, just the girl broke up with you, just accept it, you know. And moving forward, oh, wow, moving forward, let's see this.
Arrogance. Their emotions are real, they are present, but they are filtered. Kind of like the film's color palette. The array could comprehend, but didn't abandon Theo to a sad and lonely existence. Having grown through the relationship, Theo was finally able to set free from the past that was holding him back. After taking the first steps on the way to moving on, Theo sits with Amy.
There you go. He screwed up, supposedly. He begged his woman to say, oh, everything's all right with you. I was the scumbag. And now he gets ditched by his AI because that happy ending can't happen. And here he is right back to square one with a physical woman where he has to do it all over again. And this film is going to try and pretend it's about something positive. Man, I puke on this film and everything it represents. Thank you, everyone. That's all we need to say about this.